Shani of this week's Parsha is the famous interaction between Moshe Rabbeinu and his father-in-law Yisro, when Yisro, like a good father-in-law, gives his son-in-law some unrequested, some unsolicited advice. When Yisro sees what Moshe is doing, judging the Jewish people one by one on his own, Yisro says that is not a functional system. It is too much upon you. You need to be able to offload some of it. You need to be able to devise a system in which others can assist you, and therefore find those with wisdom, those with understanding of the necessary information to be able to divide by 50 and 100 and have different levels of courts, so to speak, so that you have assistance and you can remain and you can be able to functionally run the society of the Jewish people. And yet, with all of that advice, Yisro recognizes that there are limitations to that system. Because at the end of the day, while Moshe is able to share the load, at the end of the day, there are things that the Davar HaGadol, the great big thing, needs to ultimately come back to you, Moshe. What was that great big thing? What were the big elements that only Moshe could teach and could judge? Rav Schwab, based on the Gemara and Bava Metzia, which darshans, which makes drushos based off of these psukim, explains that if you look through them, it talks about Gemilus Chasadim and Bikor Cholim, and teaching even families, teaching children how to make a parnasa and become crafts people. Some of these elements, which are ultimately being Adam Lechavero, they're not just means of deciding who's right, who's wrong, of having a judgment based off of halacha, in which what the prerequisites are a knowledge of the halacha, knowledge of the situation, and understanding, and chachma of wisdom, being able to apply that, not to belittle that in any sense of the word. But yet, Reb Schwab explains that the only person that can teach Klal Yisrael how to act like a mensch, how to have good midos, how to be v'halachta b'drachav, was Moshe Rabbeinu. That Moshe, the leader of the generation, could not offload. That Moshe Rabbeinu could not get other people in the system to teach that. That needed to come from Moshe Rabbeinu himself. The one person who was able to speak to Kadosh Baruch Hu Pel Peh, who was able to speak directly with God, who had such direct interactions with the Ribono Shel Olam. He was the one who needed to take it upon his own shoulders, not to give it to someone else, to teach Klal Yisrael how to be like a mensch, how to act ben Adam L'chaver. And so while Yisro gave this advice to set up a system to be able to maintain the society and function, but nonetheless, he reminded Moshe that while I'm telling you this, don't lose sight of your own responsibility to be able to teach the halachta b'drach of what it means to follow in the ways of God. And that is something that only you, Moshe, can accomplish. And so while we all have scenarios to be able to share the burden and to be able to appoint other people to accomplish certain tasks for us, we know the concept of shlichus. But at the end of the day, halacha also tells us that that it is preferable to do it on one's own than via the means of shliach. While shliach satisfies halacha, still nonetheless there are times and place where it is not appropriate to do it al yedei shliach, because we each have what we can accomplish that nobody else can accomplish on our behalf. Have a great day.